the ends. This little piece of hair is killing me. But I always joke. Hello, I'm TSP Coca. Welcome back. Recently I've been posting a lot of me going to shows and open mics, not really talking too much, just kind of showing you what I look like, performing, show some other people. So I actually want to kind of show a little bit behind the scenes. I finished 2 poems, and I'm going to be practicing them. So I just wanted to kind of show y'all that. I'm going to start a new poem as well called Dysphoria Wars. Is it Dysphoria or Diaspora? Dysphoria. Diaspora. It's Diaspora. Diaspora Wars. I always say Dysphoria. Diaspora Wars. Which, that'll be a separate video, but stay tuned for that. I just want to show you my process. The second poem, I changed the name a few times. First, I was going to call it Hypothetically, but I just kind of changed that whole concept. I kept majority of the poem, but because the concept at first it was going to be, because when people, and even when people, Americans in general, but more so Black people, even though they do it to white people too, when they speak out when things happen in America, right, and especially when Black people stick up for their community and stand up for ourselves and for our people, even though people like to label us as lazy, even though everything that we build always gets destroyed. But for some reason, the people who destroy it, nobody got nothing negative to say about them, but got something negative to say about Black Americans. Anyway, this is Editor Micaiah. I got so off topic while I was talking, but pretty much I was saying that I made that poem. I was going to name it Hypothetically because I was pretty much talking about how, people usually die and stuff or get killed when they're talking about freedom for America, freedom for Black people. So yeah, that's what that poem is about. But on to the poem, Divided States. This poem is about rebellion and about revolution. Not even just as Black Americans, but as Americans across the board. Okay, because there's not going to get into that. The poem is going to get into that. So first it was called Hypothetically, but I changed it to Divided States. I feel like the name is like clearer what the poem's going to be about, which I try not to do that, but sometimes it just is what it is. So here we go. This one's the newer one. Like I finished this joint at work. I finished this yesterday. Literally, I finished this 3/5/2025, and today's the 6th that I'm recording this. Yeah, it's the 6th. So I researched slave rebellions. The common denominator in failure, fellow enslaved person snitching, seemed to explain the saying, all skinfolk ain't kinfolk, or snitches get stitches, the successes, led with spirits protected by African traditional religion, bravery, and bloodshed. In these patterns I see when we organize, uprise, blood will fall. Many of our ancestors watered this soil with their blood, sweat, tears, fruit of their labor after enslavement could be seen, yet still out of reach. I watched this Malcolm X speech on the Black Revolution. He said, "You haven't gotten a revolution without bloodshed, and you're afraid to bleed." I've always perceived my environment thinking, crazy how people grow up in these streets seeing liquor, corner stores owned by foreigners, because redlining for them too is a thing. I peep people in their ops not owning a house on their block, but will die behind that intersection. I'm not trying to make you feel disrespected. Let's just get introspective. Committing consistent crimes because this work ain't working, but this work will. Living in the United States of survival. Fighting each other over scraps when we could have a buffet, but our food gets taken away and we blame each other. Argument over the table our ancestors built. Blood spilt on these blocks in vain is less revolution, more self-destruction. Programmed this way and going with it like NPC. Wish we could break through like NEO. Divide and conquer has always been a loud whisper in American history. The creators of this plan always seem to win. Democrats, Republican, religion, race, class, us, U.S. citizens clash, country not civil, constant small civil wars. In my rebellion research, I drifted into indentured servitude, made up of majority poor European immigrants. Some aided in these rebellions, though they weren't slaves. They had rights. They felt slavery wasn't right. However, this didn't last long. Slave masters did something to get them on their side, changing contracts, and came up with the term white. Indentured servants stopped helping the enslaved to help enslavers. See how self-proclaimed allies switch up, saying they was down all lies, action mimicking devil worshippers, sacrificing our lives for their rise. 2K25, the cycle repeats. We see who in office. I always wonder why, cause from European to U.S. history, it's always been clear the higher tier never gave a fuck about poor whites, literally calling y'all trash. We're constantly conquered by this divide. The FBI killed Fred Hampton, 21 years young. In a speech, he said, "Racism is an excuse for capitalism. Racism is a byproduct of capitalism. This program be a product we buy into, staying separated like open legs, getting fucked over and over again. The trap, divide and conquer. Capitalism, cheese. We, mice, falling victim to this recycled system. We, the people, hold power, yet greed, selfishness, fear seem to take power's place. At times it feels we'll never be united in this state." That's the second one, divided states. I'm thinking about changing the ending. Like, I always struggle with like the end of my poems. I feel like the ending like falls flat a little bit. Seems to take place. Times it feels we'll never be united. Sometimes it feels like we'll never be united. At times it feels we'll always be divided in the United States. At times it feels I'll say that. At times it feels we'll always be divided in the United States. At times it feels we'll always be divided in the United States. At times it feels we'll always be divided in this United State. In the United States. That's better. USA. USA. All right. My bad. But this next poem, diaspora wars. I want to say dysphoria so bad. Diaspora wars. This poem, I'm a Black American, right? If it's not clear enough, right? I'm a Black American, and like we Black Americans, right? We really do like root for everybody, right? Like, this is mainly just for me to look back. I might put this in a video. That's why I'm talking, but if not, it's just me saying it, so it doesn't matter. I was practicing in the shower, and I was just like I was getting the flow down. I'm like, ooh, 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 ooh. This poem, amazing, like amazing. I'm so excited. I researched slave rebellions. The common denominator in failure, fellow enslaved person snitching. In these patterns, I realized when we organize, uprise, blood will fall. And some of our ancestors watered this soil with their blood, sweat, tears, fruit, and their labor. Seeing liquor, corner stores owned by foreigners, because redlining for them too was a thing. I peeped people in their ops not owning a house on their block, but would die behind that intersection. Indentured servants stopped helping the enslaved to help enslavers. See how self-proclaimed allies switch up, claiming they were down all lies, action mimicking devil worshippers, sacrificing our lives for their rise. 2K25. I'm saying this too fast. I need to say every word, still get through it though. Hey, bet. It's when this camera gets in front of me, it's the frequencies that's messing up my brain. But no, I just need to slow down. I have a buffet, but someone keeps taking our food and we blame each other. Arguing over the table our ancestors built, blood spilled on blood spilled in vain on these blocks. Blood spilled on these. Start from the top. Fuck it. Blood spilled on these blocks in vain. Blood spilled on these blocks in vain is less revolution, more self-destruction. Okay. A revolution without bloodshed, and you're afraid to bleed. Many of our ancestors watered this soil with their blood, sweat, tears, fruit of their labor after enslavement could be seen, yet still out of reach. Okay, this was truly my last time restarting. How many times did I restart? My last time restarting. Envy, fear, selfishness takes power's place. At times it feels we'll always be divided. In the United States. Okay, boom. This is going to be my last take. Full through. As we said, my name is TSB Coca. TSB stands for the Stuttering Poet. Yes, I do stutter. Yes, I do poetry. If you're wondering, okay, you're talking, but you're not stuttering, I have a poem called Broken Record, which talks about that in my book. I'm not performing that tonight. What I am performing is a new poem. Yes, my first time performing it. I wrote it and I've been practicing it for 2 weeks, so I know that you guys will like it. It's called Divided States. I researched slave rebellions, the common denominator in failure, fellow enslaved person snitching. I guess that explains the saying, all skin folk and kinfolk, or snitches get stitches, the successes. Led with spirits protected by African traditional religion, bravery, and bloodshed.